Welcome back everyone to the LEC, where we have an even series between Fnatic and BDS. So I thought, since this is now back to even, let's dive into one of the reasons why it got to that point. I wanted to bring up the Atachan play from Game 2 because objectives have been the name of the game for both of these teams, and I think that by having a strong front line and a mobile backline, BDS showed how they knew how to play around this objective. So as we move into this, there are a couple of things I really want to highlight first. The first thing is the timing they choose to play with this. There are no pushing lanes from Fnatic for them to make a cross map on this. So they decide to start the objective. You can see immediately the strong front line creates a barrier which is actually very far away from the Atachan, which does mean that Fnatic can't really push their way through, and Razork can't really look for a kind of a smite steal at the same time because Irrelevant is kind of blocking the door, and as you can see, the wave in top lane is not really giving an entrance towards the top side of the map, and the Atachan as well. That means that the Atachan can be burst without really a threat of it being stolen. That's the front line doing a great job from BDS to stop the objective being contested. After this point, we have to talk about the difference between a top side and a bot side Atachan. Namely, this wall is normally an absolute hellish thing to play around as you're playing around the Atachan, because normally you can't cross over that. Well, when you have a Zeri, you have a Nidalee, you can. So as you can see here, as the engage comes through from Fnatic and they try and mount a team fight, you immediately see the crossover a wall is suddenly what was a barrier before, which was a wall which BDS had their back to. It's actually something that protects them to this point, because no one from Fnatic can easily cross this at the same time, and it means that the mobile carries from BDS make the team fight after the Atachan has been taken much easier to play around. Ice gets himself away from the initial engage using that wall and allows him to walk through the rest of the fight, and using the cleanse too, and of course the safety of having that extra revive, it means actually the fight after that point becomes much more easy for BDS. I think particularly when we have teams that are suffering around this objective, understanding the micro of the difference between top side and bot side and knowing how to use a strong front line and a mobile back line in situations like this is very important for the objective, and BDS used that to get ahead in this game. Well, that's one of the ways they got ahead in the game. I'm sure there was plenty else as well, and the desk will be breaking down the rest of it.
Thank you, Nymaera. So what I'm hearing is that when team play towards the win conditions, they win?
Now this has got to be a
wild.
Why didn't we figure this before?
No, but here in this game, I know that, again, check-in on 113, I know that he kept the ball running for his team with a Nidalee pick that we have been dying to see here, Finn.
That's why it's banned. 113 confirmed kills, 113 won games by him. My man in the jungle had a great game on the Nidalee and shows why it's been permabanned in all of playoffs.
And I mean, I'll be honest, he definitely wasn't the guy I thought that was going to get the Nidalee pass coming into the season, but he's been delivering and he's really been scaling, not just with this series, but honestly with this regular season. And honestly, coming from a point where there was questions to him even being allowed to come back into the LEC with his performance in Astralis, he's really shut them down, and he's become a pivotal point for BDS in terms of securing their victories.
Yeah, and showing up in clutch moments, in stressful moments, in moments that matters. I know that talking to Nuke yesterday, he was feeling a bit of a thrill being in this situation, fearing the elimination, but also having this sentiment boosting them. On the other side, that's really not what I feel for Fnatic, though. I feel like, I don't want to say crumbling under pressure, but it is not, again, I'm going to repeat myself, it is not the Fnatic we were promised.
No, I mean,
I'm really mad.
I agree, and it is sort of disappointing, isn't it? Because it feels like we're not even getting the Fnatic that was promised from regular season. We're not seeing any one of them in a position where they are mechanically better, because it doesn't feel like that. I feel like in this game as well, specifically, Humanoid never really had any side lane pressure, despite the fact that you would have a Sejuani to play around with in a 2v2 scenario. You did have a Galio where you can pressure any of it is, but it was never them who was dictating the pressure on the map. It was never them who was in a position to have set up on the objectives either.
Yeah, and I would think Fnatic to be the stronger team if you come into a mid-late game even. I would think BDS win condition is having a strong early game and snowballing that, but this game, Fnatic came into the 20-minute mark with a 2k goal lead, and they still managed to lose the game away. Anyway, I can't speak English anymore.
It's all good,
I'm so upset. Why are you doing this, Fnatic?
No, but I mean, on the other side, I think BDS did a good job at playing towards some of their win conditions here, Skill. We got Nuke back on some comfort. We've seen him play a lot of Jace. He's one of the few people who's willing to bring that out. Going into future games here when it's fearless, you're going to have to dig deep, but the Talia is still available there. You can still find combinations where you make it work. And I think think that is the key moments where BDS is going to have to really keep it simple and not get lost in the tier list.
Keep it simple. Parus and 113 linking up, nuke on comfort. What do we want to see on the side of Fnatic? I don't know if you saw that already or not. No, not yet. What are the win conditions for
I
Fnatic
need
here?
to see Mikyx with some initiative. I don't think Galio does that man justice. I think when you're playing Galio, you're kind of playing a follow-up to the enemy's engage. And I think Mikyx has been so pivotal in Fnatic's success this winter that I need to see him have some kind of engage. I want to see like a Leona and Nautilus. Another Rel is out, but I think the Rakan is still up and available.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I think it's also one of the things where you don't see that link up with Razork. Like, sure, one thing is Mickey being on engage. Another thing is it doesn't make sense with the pairing of the jungler. This was a Galio. It's not engaged, as you agree. It can be engaged if it's facilitated, well, with a buy, not that it was available, but one of those things where you know you need to have the compositions make sense together, and hasn't really done that between the two of them.
It's actually what I wanted to ask you, because we've been hearing all split that Fnatic keep on shining because the synergy is on point, because of this relationship between Razork and Mickey. Finn, you've been in these situations as a pro player. What do you read on the situation from Fnatic? Do you feel like communication is missing here or getting messy? Or in actually tense moments like this, maybe them having strong opinions on the game and not finding the right one to follow is what is causing them fault here?
I just think Fnatic has really high expectations of themselves. They really believe they are one of the best teams in Europe, and as they should have. But I think the double-edged sword that is these really strong opinions and really high opinions of yourself is that when things don't go your way, you can kind of start faltering a little bit. Maybe you point fingers to your teammates. Maybe you like crumble. You think, why aren't we beating BDS convincingly? Because they think they should be doing it, and now they're not. So this is also like something that can come and hurt you in the end.
But to me, it doesn't even feel like they're crumbling under the pressure that's making them perform worse in terms of choke in plays. It just feels like they're not even at that position where they want to make the right play, right? I think like that baseline really has to be fixed there, where you feel the pressure of playing against the gifted players of Fnatic, and where you feel like they are taking over the map, but they're not feeling like that at all. And I think BDS, they're actually feeling quite comfortable going into this third game, because Fnatic, they have been an emotional team in the past, and while it's a new roster, I'm just saying, I'm seeing some of the same trends. They lost to G2 in an 0-2. They're now going down in the lower bracket again. And a series that honestly should have been a 2-0 is suddenly a 1-1 with BDS able to take it.
Yeah, and in a game 3 that BDS has seen yesterday. They've been in this situation yesterday, and I thought Fnatic would have a better read on them. But I gotta say, going into this game 3, I really want to give the momentum to BDS from experience.
I mean, for sure, they had the momentum coming in from a winning game 2 against a favorite like Fnatic. But I think if Fnatic actually simplifies it a little bit, I believe if Fnatic has a strong team fighting core, they will actually come into the late game and outperform BDS. I think this game, BDS has such a strong team fighting core with the Rel and the Ornn and the Nidalee that was just so strong with the spears. I think if you give the Fnatic players something that they know they're going to play well on, like Azir to Humanoid, Nautilus to Mikyx, Ezreal to upset, anything like this, I think this would be a really, really strong formula if you want to win this game.
What do you open with on blue side for Fnatic?
What is crucial up and available is still the Ambessa. It has been banned both games. I would imagine if that doesn't get banned, it will get picked really early. Otherwise, I would love to see an early Ezreal for upset, honestly. I think this is such a strong laning champion. It's such a big comfort pick for him that I think would be very good.
We have only seen madness in Game 3 Fearless Draft so far. So let's see what the teams have prepared here for this elimination game. One of them will be going home for a long time until spring, and the other one gets to continue in playoffs. Casters, take it away.
Hell yeah, give us madness, give us chaos, give us the bundle of joy that comes with a Game 3. Hey, it might not be a BO5, but at least getting to the end here, as Law already set us up, there are things that come out of the blue here. And can I just quickly say, this could have been 2-0 for BDS. That could have been very real world. As Game 1, they're on the door to Fnatic's base.
And the thing is, I don't want to see Fnatic continue to take these risks in draft if they want to try and take the win. Because we've seen Game 1, they leave open the Skarner. The go-to red side ban, 113 pops off and makes it very difficult for Fnatic to try and bring that game back from the brink. Game 2, they leave open the Nidalee and 113 has a fantastic performance on it and makes it very difficult then for Fnatic. And now Fnatic are on the brink of BDS, the 7th place team, a team that has not looked that good coming in towards playoffs, potentially knocking them out.
wouldn't it just be the Cinderella run, the hero story? Yeah, BDS, don't worry, they always finish in the top 4. But as we go into game 3, let's focus here on the draft. The Lulu taken away is smart when we start going towards more enchanters. I want people to keep their minds open to things like the Karma as well. Sejuani was talked about, or at least was talked about previously, but now that's taken off the board. Where else hits your #1 spot, Dagda? Because I see all the usual takeaways. Ambessa they talked about on desk as well. Good hit.
Yeah, I think it's just too big of a pick for Oscarinin, but they're going to go towards the Azir instead. So this is leaving Irrelevant the opportunity to go for the Ambessa if they want to. Maybe the thought process is, hey, look, a lot of the dive has already been taken away. Those like nice pairings for the Ambessa are gone. So we're not going to go towards it, but we'll have to see what the answer is here. I think Sejuani, strong jungler that's still up and available. Oh, sorry, actually, sorry, yeah, it is still up and available. No, gone. Sorry, it is gone.
No, you're right. The rotating thing, my ADHD is like, wait, oh, it is gone. Yeah. Ambessa, you did talk about it a little bit earlier, though. That's taken away. So for BDS, a strong pick in top that, Irrelevant during the regular season didn't really play, and I'm just looking here through playoffs. It's been his most played in playoffs, though.
I think the Xin Zhao could also be another pick here for 113. That's something that's definitely been quite strong, especially when you see like the likes of the Lee Sins and those kind of things start to come into the champion rotation now. So yeah, Xin Zhao, nice to follow up with the Ambessa as well if she can hit that public execution.
But now what do you set up with the Azir?
Okay.
I guess you give it Pantheon. If you don't have the Sedge, that's what you do is Mikyx's Poppy could still technically be a flex, but we've seen Mikyx with Halo Blades on this. And I feel like this has been one of his best champions. He's a little bit crazy with it.
Yeah, there's so many places that are flex picks that you can go. Like Pantheon can go jungle, can go support, Poppy can go top jungle support. So you're leaving yourselves with a lot of answers here on Fnatic's side. Syndra, you're going to go on the upside. This was something that Nuke in 2022 used to fall back towards an awful lot. Definitely a comfort pick for him. But it is something that has good follow-up. So essentially what BDS are looking to do is clock someone with the public execution, follow up immediately with the Xin Zhao and that ultimate from the Syndra, and just remove them from the game. So this is where Fnatic, they've already kind of gotten Poppy into the rotation to try and deny a lot of that follow-up, but Syndra kind of undeniable in that respect by a Poppy.
I mean, also makes it harder for Humanoid to play the game as well. This is all piles on the Azir. And Upset's going to need a self-peeling AD carry, I tell you what. As BDS start taking away some of the scaling AD carries that could have been paired up, and Blitzcrank also taken through when it does signal that maybe Fnatic are going for an enchanter this game in bot lane.
Yeah, I think the other side is to just go for something like the Alistar ban or the Leona ban, and basically just put the Poppy down to that bottom side, because either Alistar or Leona you're going to be fine with, and I think you do want ease of execution engage for BDS, and that kind of has to come from the support role in this position, unless Ice is going towards something like the Ashe or something along these lines again. But with Twitch gone, Caitlyn gone, no AD carry locked in on Fnatic side, I think you have the option here as Ice to go for something a bit more of a lane bully like the Misfortune if you want to, and just try and hammer home a strong bot lane to play through.
And to correct my point, with Blitzcrank off the board, kind of meaning for BDS that they have the option to be in, play an enchanter lane as well. Elise also taken off one of the lane bullies and one of the roamers that Mickey has already shown us, and of course for Parus too, he's been more of the rel, more of the setup of the engage. Now do they pull it out of the bag, or do we get an early AD carry here, Dagda, and take away options from Upset? Because not much is left, is it? Like Corki and Zyra in one game means that there was an AD carry taken off in one single game, and they're like, hey, let's give Ice one of his best performing AD carries in 2024.
It is without the Lulu though, and that has kind of been a core staple alongside it. Something that can set up for it, enable it with the movement speed. So you're going to be looking at some sort of other enchanter potentially here for Parus.
Milio,
potentially something here. The other option is maybe something like a Janna, but it feels a little bit off to me, and that's why we got the early Lulu ban from Fnatic, basically predicting, hey, if you end up going towards something like the Jinx, you don't have that strong pairing alongside us.
Well, Leona's taken away, so one of those strong engaged champions, at least tonight as well. And Dagda, that does show us that
Poppy top.
Yeah, Poppy is going into the top lane. I mean, look, I watched a bit of Spear Shot. I know that Pantheon can be played top lane as well, but anything's possible. It's game 3 of Fearless. Let's just throw that out there as we get our hands for AD carry, and Jhin adds a bit of range into this comp for Fnatic as well.
Yeah, the Jhin is a little funky though. Like, it's definitely a kill lane and bot lane, which is definitely not what Jinx wants to see. So I think you're going to be looking at Fnatic trying to play heavily through this bottom side of the map. My only worry is that Jhin doesn't offer a huge amount when it comes towards team fights, so a huge amount of these fights will be on Humanoid, but that also then puts a very big target onto his back for public executions, for the E from the Syndra. The CC chain on a potential Azir is quite high here, and then I don't think upset is enough to carry the fight. So if BDS are looking at anyone, it's at that mid lane.
Now, my only question for you, for BDS, is are you worried about engage here? Because there's a lot of pick tools to give Jinx and enable that reset, but we have a lot of disengage, a lot of spacing here. I guess the hard pick comes from Ambessa, it comes from Xin Zhao, and the setup you talked about with Syndra, right? But it's not some big go button like the Nautilus, like the Leona. How do you want to pick apart this BDS comp?
Yeah, I think the pick is definitely there, and a huge amount of it is unfortunately a little unreliable. Like, we've seen so many public executions go wide, but if you've got the Syndra, just the opportunity to fish for a pick with the Scout of the Week is quite nice. In a team fight, it's non-committal, which is also great. But again, I think lacking that engage from the support role definitely hinders here. And Braum, of course, can't really block stuff like the Azir. So I think that then makes it a little bit more difficult in these fights. So in theory, I give the edge to Fnatic. I think they just have a better rounded outcome. But if you can pick off Humanoid, it's going to get very tough for Fnatic.
Well, it's all down to this. I said it yesterday with GX Team Heretics, but this one, ladies and gentlemen, feels like it has so much more impact because BDS have never been kicked out of playoffs for hitting the top 4. Never. This would also break their history as Fnatic being kicked out, 3 different times, but it's been a while since 2024 winter, but then 2021 spring, all the way back to 2016 summer. Fnatic are always that team that tail G2. The fans are definitely behind them, but BDS have shown in 2 games now that they've got a lot worth fighting for. Game 1 was so close, BDS could have ended it there. Fnatic fought back, found a couple of clutch moments, but then came game 2, and when you talk about clutch, it was 1-1-3, who once again is on a champion that can carry and snowball the early game.
I think it was 2023 winter, they didn't, not 2024.
Thank you for the correction, Dagda.
But still,
always trust in
it
you,
would
Dagda.
it would be a scary sight to see Fnatic knocked out this early. This was a team that many hoped could contend with G2 to hit that top spot, to be the best version of Fnatic since 2018 when they last won the league, and now struggling against BDS. But I think this is much more about BDS stepping up.
Yep.
This has been an incredible performance from this team, and again, this is a team that we knew needed a lot of work, and I think a lot of people were looking towards the coaching staff to say, hey, look, can you make this roster come together? It's a very different style from what they had last year, but starting with a win over Fnatic will be huge to their lower bracket run.
Our whole tournament would be in shambles. Fnatic out, Fnatic done for a month and a half. As a quick side note, I never knew Summoner's Rift was in Switzerland. Did you see the mountains behind? Were we in Zurich? The setting of League of Legends performed live in the city of Zurich.
We don't talk about that, it's a secret.
Oh, it is, okay.
That's confidential information.
That is, sorry about that. I just never see the big mountains. Usually LPL, they cover them up and it's all glistening and champions are in the sky as Mikyx. This is a good trade from Ice and Parus, and they don't overextend. Full Shot does nothing from upset, and it's just abusing the level 2.
Look at Razork's Pantheon though. 3 camps into a bot gank. They immediately want to punish Ice. This ward going to be clutch in getting in time.
Okay. I was scared. Another ward placed down in response as well. We just go to top side. Oscarinin against the wall. That's a really nice hammer shock as well. Gets grasp, and Irrelevant, while he gets his back, thanks to Biscuits, he'll be able to pop up. I mean, Biscuits and pots. Yeah, that's fair. That's very balanced. He's half HP.
Yeah, Razork spotted coming off of that bot side though, which is why you're seeing Nuke hug this top side of the lane, even though, oh, hang on.
He walked up. Humanoid walks in. Razork flashes away. Great scout of the week from Nuke. But now he's under fire. Movement speed from Razork. He finds it, and First Blood finds Humanoid.
Oh, Nuke, the idea was there. Hug that top side of the lane so that then you can't get ganked, but just takes that step forward at the wrong time, especially because you can already see in the minimap, they actually had a ward at the back here, and this is the ward that they initially spotted the movement from Razork on. Just doesn't respect this and ends up giving his life.
And Humanoid on Azir, nothing if not consistent, right? I feel like don't know if you agree with this, Dagda, one of his best champions that I've seen, at least in the past couple of years. I mean, consistent DPS favors someone like Humanoid, who I think can be a really good team fighter, and set up with the early kill here. Already has himself a dagger, boots. Nice little bit of lane advantage when you're expecting him to have next to none.
Yeah, I mean, this is for a long time been the Humanoid go-to champion.
Yeah, okay,
good inside lanes, good in team fights, the ability to completely reshape a game with one ultimate, and now he's off to a fantastic start. Upset, ends up running into 1-1-3.
It's found out. Zenith's played for the re-engage, but BDS's bot lane is here.
Yeah.
Not respecting the flash engage as Mikyx now in trouble himself. He has no flash, but stunned up and dead. I mean, Fnatic's 2v2, that was just disrespectful.
Yeah, great button pressing though by Parus. The immediate follow-up with the Q, the flash, the stand beside me, like, great to actually get the slow on towards Mikyx, and Mikyx didn't have the flash because the initial engage. So, to be honest, like the last 2 games, this BDS bot lane has kind of been getting the better of Upset and Mikyx, and a lot of that is mistakes from Mikyx.
Yep. Mistakes from Mikyx and Parus stepping up to the plate. Parus had a little bit of criticism coming out of EMEA Masters and, you know, being the champion on BDSA, on the sister team. We played with the likes of Janax and Rika. And you said, man, this is the best support. He's going to do amazing things like Skumon is doing currently on G2. But Parus is taking a little bit of a wild warm-up. And
I think it makes sense, especially when you've got 1-1-3 coming into the team, trying to find that synergy with the both Ice and also then with a new jungler. It makes sense that you're going to need a little bit of time, but playoffs again, the BDS jungle and support have stepped up massively, and Parus, with that, has been dictating how this bot lane works, and now BDS getting one back for themselves is huge.
Ambessa, by the way, even though Poppy can do that with the steadfast presence, it's all about the burst trades. Gets it down with a hammer shock there as well, and Dagda is informing me that level 6 is almost there. Irrelevant has his ulti, but under turret, Oscarinin will stay safely.
I wasn't sure how safe Oscarinin was about to be, because Irrelevant, I think, was a little nervous about being put underneath the tower and then the immediate rock back underneath, but Razork now moving up towards this top side, getting the movement speed. Irrelevant hasn't reset. Flash not available for Razork just yet.
Spotted on that ward, but look at where the minion wave is. A couple extra minions into his liking. Oscarinin knows that the wave is slowly pushing into him, and that's what makes this so dangerous. Irrelevant's like, hang on a minute, it just got cleared. There's a scrying orb shown on the map as well. This is so sketchy as a top laner, where you're like, if I go too far in this lane, I could be inting.
Yeah, and they were even thinking about moving Upset up, because again, you can use that charge, get the ultimate knock-up, and then the immediate deadly flourish from Upset would be enough knockdown, or lockdown, sorry, for Razork to get into lane, but he's just going to be happy to go for the trade of objectives instead, taking the Void Grubs.
Go down pretty quick as well, thanks to the enhanced Q. Razork, not going to get too much experience. What I've noticed from these grubs, Dagda, is they actually don't give that much experience for what you'd call a jungle camp, right?
It's the first one.
The first one, right? And then after that, it's kind of rubbish. So, as Razork takes it, yeah, about half his EXP VOD of 6 towards getting the Starfall, but he's going to be the trade as BDS open up with the Dragon Ball.
Yeah, I'm just playing towards where basically both sides are strong. You already had that early lead for Ice, and you're just going to continue to play through it. And again, like, this is kind of where Ice, if he can start to get these resets, it's going to be great. And traditionally, you don't think of lack of Lulu, and a dive comp is really where she flourishes, but if you can get a reset with that ultimate, suddenly you can take over a fight, and there is not a massive amount of backline threat apart from Razork, so in theory, Ice should be able to just free fire for a lot of these fights. It's more when you're in lanes like this, and Razork is about to tick over to level 6, where you can be a little bit more vulnerable to these Starfalls.
That's why that early lead, that kill onto bot, just mitigates, I guess, any extra pressure you'd kind of expect that comes through. And extra that gold lead that would naturally come as well. By the way, top lanes have reset and both teleported in, so if you're expecting anything to happen on the bottom side of the map with them, think again. It will just be jungle's involvement as we lull about for a little bit. I think that lulling about, Dagda, you think it benefits? You think it benefits BDS here? I mean, again, is scaling in the conversation for you?
I think it's more so about when the champions become strong. Like base damage Poppy, base damage Jhin, base damage Pantheon. I don't want to mess with them in the early game, if I'm frankly honest. So I think in that position, just, hey, like, wait till we get Eclipse on towards Ambessa. First item, like the Ludens for Nuke. Then you'll really start to come online. But also just, you have to be very careful as BDS now that the Pantheon has hit 6 as to how you are pushing in on the map. So for Ice and Parus, they just want to freeze that wave underneath their own tower until 113 gets onto their side of the map. Then they can push in that wave because they have jungle support. Whereas for Irrelevant, he now has to kind of do the opposite, where he wants that wave to crash into him because he's always at threat of Razork ulting into the lane alongside the Poppy.
just excited to come to this. I'm like a little schoolgirl right now who's just enjoying the fact that we're getting more game 3s, but not only that, but like it's kind of like, and I keep referencing LPL, obviously, that was my previous league, but I like referencing it because I feel like LEC and LPL share some kind of crazy behavior, especially with some of their gameplays. It's like today with, like in lower bracket, Weibo versus BLG. Two teams you'd expect to be in the upper echelon, but because of the way the format's worked out, are now here fighting for their lives. Like Fnatic versus BDS, who would have thought? Nuke versus Humanoid, one of them is going home today, and you won't see them for quite a while. And that's why so much is on the line. That's why it's a little bit scared play for the time being, but maybe not. I'm wrong. Humanoid tries to go in, fakes it out, but Parus' ulti is better. Wind becomes lightning. Humanoid in trouble. Unleashes power, but Humanoid unleashes the army. Razork tries to defend, but the rocket gives no quarter. Razork slowed and stunned down, and a kill for Ice is exactly what BDS need to get over those early game nerves.
Great roam from the BDS bot lane. Like, they will end up giving up a little bit underneath the tower, but they don't really care. They got that kill early on towards Ice, and now Upset very far forward.
He is. He's been Winter's Bite as well. Zapped a good dodge away, because otherwise Upset could have been in more trouble. Mikyx is far away to help, but Ice just walks in, wants the wave in the end. As you mentioned, that was being neglected, but that kill with the BF sword as well. It's still good news for Ice to continue pacing this early game.
You can see at the moment, Razork just holding that mid wave until Humanoid gets back. You've got the Void Grubs about to spawn in 30 seconds. Could be a potential 6 for Fnatic, but looking at where Razork's moving on the map, I think they want to try and make a play onto the bottom side and just give up the next 3 Void Grubs, say we'll trade even, and try and punish Ice, because at the moment this Jinx is kind of just getting the opportunity to pick up waves, got an early kill, so getting a chance to scale, and that's scary if you're Fnatic.
Oh, yes, it is. I see red at the bottom for BDS. Maybe third early game in a row.
Yeah.
Game 1, we saw a lot of early game leads come from BDS as well, or at least keeping on par with Fnatic. So, again, when we talked a little bit about, the disrupting or upsetting behavior of Fnatic, BDS are at least keeping their consistency in the first 15-20 minutes.
And a lot of this is the man on your screen, 113 again. Razork goes to make a play mid with Humanoid. You've got Parus and 113. They just show up in the lane, and you're like, all right, lads, we knew you were going to be here. Read like a book. Now close yourselves and lead. And it's just been that the entire time. And this is where BDS have been able to get these early leads. And now Fnatic.
Mikyx,
he
flash
missed.
to flash, but it's a flash from Nuke. Doesn't matter though, Grand Starfall for Razork, but he flashes out too. Fnatic thought, yeah, we'll take this fight, but even after a solo play, I don't think they will. Rocket sends in, Oscarin's ulti's great, but already the feats of warfare have been claimed. Fnatic were the chosen ones, but BDS are starting to believe.
BDS gonna get these Void Grubs for themselves. Unfortunately, Ice didn't quite get the reset that he would have liked. The ultimate only hitting on towards Mikyx, but still the kill goes across to BDS. The control of the map goes across to BDS. And Fnatic, they've got to start feeling this pressure at this stage.
The grubs are going to be taken. 113 is going to even up 3 apiece. And again, when he's involved, good things happen. Once again, 100% kill participation. And once again, people succeeding around him. Nuke just picked up a kill from that as well, where he'll now find a lead. And we'll look at the replay again, because Fnatic are the ones who chose to try and start this play.
Yeah, Mikyx really wanted to get on towards Nuke. Grand Starfall on its way, and you've got Humanoid potentially there, but BDS, they kite backwards, turn on towards Razork. Oscarinin isn't in a position, so essentially this is a 3v4, so they get the kill onto the Pantheon, and then Irrelevant tries to chase down, but Oscarinin's there to keep him at bay. Now Fnatic trying to enter through the bot side.
Because BDS want their second dragon, so Razork needs to steal this, because tempo and momentum, those are mean words, but they're very, very real in this game. Humanoid with a flanking angle with his ult and flash available, wants in, they want to sandwich Fnatic, trying to put it all on the line. Teleport comes first as Ice, instant cleanse away, Captain Jack Sparrow as we've got the curtain call. Meanwhile, teleport's flying, it's Oscarinin, and now Humanoid with the shuffle in. BDS are cornered and sent away. 113 is just trying to buy some time for his team as Nuke somehow gets out, scout of the week, and they still find kills. How did BDS find anything? They were the one getting pincered, but Fnatic are the ones blowing up. 113 again. I feel like this guy is only rolling perfect fives as the triple comes through, and Irrelevant takes Fnatic to court.
I cannot believe BDS won that fight. It started off with Fnatic finding the opportunities to get on towards Ice, push him out of the pit. Like, even when you look at the backside, like, everyone at BDS is running up here, but you've also got to look at, like, Ice. As he goes through here, you get the pressure from Humanoid. Oscarinin then goes in, gets the flash, misses the stun, but then it's this follow-up. As you go for the all-in, It's the Scatter the Weak, the ultimate from Ice, gives that reset, and now that backline threat isn't there for this Jinx. So he starts to tear through people alongside Irrelevant, who's just been healthy this entire fight.
Xin Zhao passive, plus Sundered Sky in that fight as well. 113 just doesn't die.
Yep.
And because there's not enough damage, you know, we don't see the Azir really pummeling through the health bars yet. The Pantheon not able to get access. 113 stays alive for so long, and Dagda, impressive team fight for BDS, a 3k gold lead. Fnatic are now on the verge of a very, very poor early game that's going very, very not in their favor. A 1k gold lead now for Irrelevant as well in this Ambessa. And you have big concerns now that this Jinx is in the right position at the right time.
Exactly, and again, it comes back to what we talked about. If Humanoid is not the one that's consistently getting that DPS off, there isn't really anyone to fulfill that role on Fnatic. Upset can't really do it with this Jhin. And even in that fight, he kind of opened up with the ult, but was taken out of the equation. So for BDS, there's just so many, like so much room for everyone to deal damage.
Yep.
Like everyone is a threat. Now Mikyx trying to be a threat towards Nuke, but Parus is here.
FLICKR is a really good sidestep. Nuke still gets stunned down though. Shield of Daybreak connects and Nuke might still be in trouble. Taken down. A big shutdown over to Razork and Fnatic back into this fight. Parus gets stoned up, stunned up, and whatever English you want to use, he's still dead. A double over to Razork and Fnatic mitigate disaster.
Yeah, they end up getting the double kill. They should be able to answer for the tower take BDS are going for in that bot lane. Nice pick from Fnatic, at least getting something back for themselves here.
Oh, they really needed it as well. And some kills onto Razork because he's going to have to learn how to carry this game and get it across the line so that Humanoid can start scaling and so that Upset can also start popping people as well. Dangerous waters, but now mitigated by about 1,200 gold thanks to the double kill sent over.
It does give Fnatic, though, the opportunity to get themselves in good shape. They've shoved in top. Humanoid can then reset, should be able to finish off his boots and get back out for the Rift Tower that's about to spawn in 30 seconds. He's going to be a little late off the bat, and BDS, they want to try and catch him on side lane once again. Humanoid, you have to be so careful here.
113 is just on a ward, but he's probably underestimating it. As you said, Humanoid has to shuffle away. 113 looking for a different path, and with that turret, it might end up being a dive, Dagda, but how confident do BDS feel?
But all they have to do is prevent him from looking for the reset, because now they're in a position for that Rift Herald. Look at everyone on Fnatic elsewhere, though. Down on this bottom half of the map, they want to look for the turret trade. BDS happy to handshake because the objective is on that top half of the map.
Minion wave is thin, though, which is a bit of an issue. As you said, Herald, it's spawned now, which will give 113 access to it, but BDS are going to try and find the turret in the meanwhile, while Fnatic slow to this punch.
But look at where that gold is going. It is Nuke who's picking up the wave on top. It's with Irrelevant. They're the ones that are sharing the gold.
True.
That is all gold going to a Poppy. Poppy nowhere going to be, and is useful as Humanoid. That's it, look!
It's a public execution. It's an execution from Humanoid. He's down. Nuke spears him to death, and Humanoid into the ground. Herald given over. Turret is a trade. Again, BDS, they're not slowing down, Dagda. They're sick of playing slow.
This is insane from BDS. The picks are perfect. Mikyx next.
He's caught out. He thinks he's safe behind his own turret, but that turret is kaput. It's gone. A reset over to Ice. He's excited, and I think the fans should be as well. BDS showing more than just life. They're showing the bloody sun in Berlin in winter. Razork has to run for his life. Another turret. 3 within a minute. And BDS fans are feeling something they ain't feeling for a long while this split.
And Humanoid has been Icarus in this game, flying too close to the sun. And it's been BDS who have burnt him time and time again throughout this series. Caught again on a side lane. BDS ripped through structures. They ripped through the heart of Fnatic fans. And you can see here, immediately Nuke stuns him. The public execution, it's fantastic follow-up. And we were highlighting the fact that nobody is on that bottom side for BDS. Fnatic knew it. Mikyx had spotted them out. They'd put all the wards down. But it's Fnatic who are punished again. And it's Mikyx caught out afterwards that ends up giving so much more to BDS.
It just seems like winter's going to become a recurring theme for Fnatic, where it hurts them deep inside as Irrelevant. Might be caught out, Solarflare catches him, but he's going to take a while to die. Eclipse makes short work of that as he's going to spin. Mikyx flashes in for a Shield of Daybreak, and Irrelevant now uses his Summoner. Okay, Dragon was taking the meantime for BDS while they tried to find a pick on Fnatic's end.
Yeah, it looks like, though, Irrelevant should be able to reset, still get up to collect that top wave if they really need him to. Parus in the area, looking to sync up with them, should be fine. So it's a bit of a wave loss, not the end of the world. It's still that second Dragon going across the BDS. So Fnatic, they've kind of realized where they're at now. It's hope that we can find picks, because when it comes to team fights, We're just not really in the equation.
But Fnatic are meant to be the team that's second in the league, Dagda, challenging G2, right? That's meant to be Fnatic. This is meant to be their split, where they go on and they look better than ever and they get to go to first stand, right? People started doubting G2 at the end of the regular season. Obviously, G2 are not really a surprise when you consider that they ended 6-3 and start doing G2 things, but this is Fnatic's story. Fnatic's story is always about pursuit and always about competition where they're at the top level.
But maybe that's the problem. We were hoping for a different story from Fnatic. We were hoping that maybe the story told was just a different one this time, but it feels like for Fnatic, maybe it's a story that's been here for several years. We get hyped, we can see the potential. We saw it in season finals, we saw it in summer in 2024, but they could never live up to it. And now it's BDS that are looking to steal that spotlight away from them. Show that even with these changes, when people doubted them, that they are still a team to contend with.
And it's crazy because only in the winter season, if you didn't tune in, they finished first, 8-1. Fnatic are your top team out of the regular season. BDS are where again, Doug? Do you want to hit it?
Seventh place.
Seventh. This is first versus seventh. And BDS right now sit with the 3K gold lead. They've obviously scaled up in playoffs and they're scaling up within this game. Look at that Jinx. Infinity Edge is well and truly on the way. There's a 1.3K gold lead between Ice and Upset right now. And it's always interesting to have that discussion because I don't feel like we've talked much about Ice this regular season, but hell, we've solved the story of Upset and Mikyx and how good their 2v2 bot lanes have been.
It's been Upset and Mikyx looking great. Razork has been fantastic. It's the jungle support that have looked great as a duo. But it has all collapsed when it comes to BDS. It's 113 and Parus who are dictating the pace of this series. They've consistently done it. But now, BDS, they have to fight their demons.
They do.
They have to show that they can cleanly close out this game because Fnatic still have the tools. You have Humanoid on the Azir. He can still find those moments. But it's about not giving them across to Fnatic. BDS opening up on this top side. They're just looking to play off of two waves. Try and gain vision control in and around this top side, as that's where the Atacon is. That's where Baron will be in a few minutes' time.
I know you're all going to be saying it's only a 3K gold lead, but just think about what this signifies here for BDS. Atacon's going to start up. Everything thrown outside the bag, and Mikyx wants to set up a perfect engage to stop this in its track.
Yeah, they need the TP from Oscarinin. That's what BDS are playing for. Tower set up by Azir on the top side. That's the safety net for Fnatic.
6K, 5K, BDS are looking for the flip maybe, but Atacon's going to get the debuff. Oscarinin gets a disengage, but they're still going forward. 113 pops his ulti, jumps in, starts healing up. Solar Flare in the backline is public execution. Takes care of Mikyx. Oscar running away. 113 is still not dead. You can't kill this jungle demon as the zone control is back in. Atacon is still BDS's, and Fnatic are throwing all these Hail Marys, but Mary doesn't care.
There's just no hope in hell. Fnatic can fight back against BDS. They are desperate to get in here, but BDS, they play it perfect. They come back into this choke point, which immediately allows them just to set up this line that you have to try and fight through. But a front to back is exactly where Ice and Nuke want to be. Everyone funneled into a choke. And even though Parus was taken out, you can't touch the back line. And 113 is ripping through those low health bars. It's BDS coming alive in game number 3.
He just doesn't die. He finds a new target. He heals with Thundered Sky, and Hysterics Gauge makes it even that much harder. No one's ripping through his health bar is now 4K, and the ability for BDS to play ever so aggressive. Let's have a look, Dagda. What's on the map? What's the next up? Because Baron's 2 minutes 50 away, but Dragon in 40 seconds would lead to sole point for BDS.
I think it's the tier 2 and bot lane that BDS are looking for first, though. Ice able to move back towards mid. He should shove in that wave, and then you can connect with several people on the bottom half of the map. Fnatic trying to beat them to the punch, though, and get into position. But the map is just so dark. Like, yes, they have a lot of vision on top side, but bot lane belongs to BDS. Oscarinin tries to hide. Might have cost 113.
113 might not care. He lends that out, but he's still willing to play with it because he's got a Hysterics Gauge and the rocket, even though it misses. 113 still feels fine. Solar Flare is great, but now BDS bring everyone in. Remember, the withdrawal still there as Irrelevant jumps up to the turret. Threat still there as the Jinx is still far away. BDS might be losing this Atacon buff and losing it real quick without getting any trade in response. They see the blood in their eyes. They try and take the play, but Fnatic just get free 600 gold.
Yeah, huge from Oscarinin on the back of that play. He gets the engage on towards 113 and also gets the ultimate on towards Ice, so the Jinx is not in a position. So as you get the play here, so watch as the Jinx starts to come through here. So immediately Oscarinin gets the play on the backside, but then as Jinx starts to walk through, you get the ultimate from the Poppy. So all these members are no longer under threat from Fnatic. They can play forward using the range advantage that they have underneath the tower. So yes, they get some respite, but it is still BDS who are getting that dragon. Third dragon now for them, and Fnatic were already struggling to keep them like dead. So if this dragon goes across as well and you get the soul, it is not going to be nice for Fnatic.
And for that front line as well, let's remember, Chemtech individual dragons are really strong. Heal and shield power. Like, we have the power of Hysterics Gauge, we have the power of Sundered Sky. 113, we've already been complimenting his unkillability. Pair that with Irrelevant as well. Those stats are going to be so beneficial for BDS as we count down 4 minutes 30. Baron's up in 50. Now, Arakan, I believe, has disappeared completely, and if not, is only available on 2 more members. But for BDS, it's this Baron that puts the nail into the coffin. They still don't have this game completely under their wing. And as we saw in Game 1, it's mistakes. It's mistakes that for BDS, they need to get through. They need to clean this out.
Essentially what you want to do as BDS is shove in this bottom side, have Ambessa then drift across the mid as you get the push in on mid, and then you can all collapse onto that top half of the map. This is the real goal, is that tier 2 on top side. Now, because they've kind of dropped bot already, you have that push, it's a long lane, which draws Irrelevant back. So BDS are still kind of mistiming on these waves as to how they would like to progress this game. But even then, I think they're still fine. Like, there's no pressure on BDS, like they still scale really well into this later portion of the game. The only thing they have to be nervous about is Humanoid getting a lot of this side lane. It's where a lot of that gold has been given to on Fnatic right now. And if he can get to this third item, he is going to be very relevant in this team fight. So that's what I'm nervous about for BDS.
I'll also say, I just watched Jackie Love Jhin today that single-handedly won a Game 3, by the way. 6-item Jhin, started, you know, like 1 quarter healthy tanks. Once he gets something like the LDR there and a lot of items behind him, Jin's not the best tank killer, let's be real. But he still does a lot of work, especially ultra late game.
They don't really have a main tank on BDS's side either.
That's also a great point.
It is trying to get to that late game items is going to be the difficult part. And with the position that BDS are in, I mean, Soul in 2.5, you've got Baron, which is going to be up. This is where you just don't have the time for Fnatic.
Well, those carries also have to be worried about that time for Fnatic if given over, but you're right, they don't, because Baron's now spawned and BDS hold the area under control. That's what the blue buff setup was for before, is Razork and Mikyx trying to clear it out. 113 and Irrelevant look for a pick of their own. There's good poke that comes through, but Humanoid, as he tries to take Gromp himself, BDS are just looking for that opening, that opportunity, that member to step too far forward and get picked off. That would open up this Baron and give them, again, another checkpoint.
Yeah, they don't really have the control over the waves right now, though. Slow push from Nuke on that top side is about to be picked up by Humanoid. So now BDS is trying to play for mid-push at the same time, but they're kind of ping-ponging the waves at a similar moment. So Fnatic are able to move back and forth through their own jungle, and BDS aren't really able to establish a foothold deep into this Fnatic topside jungle, and it's making it slightly easier for Fnatic to hold.
I'm wondering if BDS are just going to wait for this Jinx third item here instead of pulling off anything antsy. Ice has yep, he's got it. Okay, Phantom Dancer instead of something like the Rapid Fire Cannon. A bit more attack speed, a bit more dueling capabilities in this game.
I think it's the fact that you don't need that extra long-range auto attack in this one, so like the Spectre Waltz and stuff like that will do a lot, where you can just move in these fights very well. So BDS now, again, Ice, open in mid, push the waves, start to drift across. That's all they're trying to do in this position. Even a slow push now, beginning to form on that top side, is going to start to cause issues for Fnatic where they need to be in 2 places at once.
BDS looking for the pick. Scout of the Week is there, but Minion Wave, or rather, sorry, Ward is actually still left there. A completely different thing. BDS move around mid, and we are 5v5ing once again as Razork might be the target, but 113 just sends it in with a public execution in as well. That's a reset over to BDS. 113 buying his time, somehow not dead, and it's Irrelevant who dies throughout. Razork gets out, but Oscarinin stunned at max range. Remember, Ice is still getting excited about something. I think excited about the fact that they're looking to take down Fnatic.
The target was Humanoid, and it's a public assassination coming through from BDS. He is routed, he is gone, and BDS are forcing their way through the Fnatic base.
Who thought the first in regular season, the best team meant to be Fnatic? Razork sitting here in front of turrets, now getting blasted his own. Ice's range is big as 113 finally dies, as many more members will soon follow, so BDS have to back away. It doesn't end here, as Fnatic might have some hope.
Upset can get the movement speed. He still has the flash. He wants to try and go for the flash shot on towards Ice. Finish off BDS here.
The movement speed, though, he's going to have to reload unless he puts down a trap.
The TP, they're coming through. They really want to try and fight this. Fnatic think they have their moment.
Mikyx Solar Flare almost off a cooldown as well. He'll have the range, another teleport to follow as well, but irrelevance now there. It's because that dragon has spawned as well. Humanoid won't find anything. BDS get out with their carries alive, as Ice has to take that extra step to be careful.
You can TP back in if they want to, but at least Fnatic looks like they've gotten that dragon. It will be gone before BDS can get back onto the map. It was a little dicey, but BDS are able to escape. TP from Nuke immediately towards that top side. I think basically BDS are saying, hey, we can go for this dragon if we want to. No ults. On towards Ice, though. Looks like it'll just be a tier 2 that is the focus for BDS instead.
So take a breath, because Baron's up. Baron part 2. Mid is open within him. The longer this goes on, the longer this frolicking around Baron, the better for BDS, as that wave becomes a very real threat. Jhin, Azir. One or both of these champions will have to deal with it as Fnatic walk into fog of war. They need to contest. Scout of the Week is there. Glacial Fissure lines it up. Parus has found his target onto Razork, but yeeted away Oscarinin. Might not matter because in a choke. Look at what Ice is doing. The Solar Flare in the backline is good for Fnatic, but Mikyx can't do too much and he's not tanky enough either. So Ice, one of the best AD carries at team fighting, starts firing away again. Mickey's dead for 35. Everyone's alive. The health bar's good enough. BDS attempt Baron again.
Razork has that ultimate, though. He can still come back in as the Pantheon not going down could be crucial. BDS waiting for the pick. It's Parus and Nuke playing for that moment.
He needs a hero play. Look how far away he is now. Might be in range as we get down to 4K. No vision except on the back of the pit. No steal, but the ulti ensues anyway. Razork had to try, but in turn he will die. Ice is dominating as the rocket sent out will go wide, but Fnatic lose their jungler again, and Baron once more for BDS cements their lead.
It's fireworks for BDS at the end of it, and it's this choke that is crucial. They get the pick, but Upset finds Nuke.
Your Nuke, 4-shot dead. Okay, so one Baron down, a shutdown again halts the game a little bit.
But it opens up now for Fnatic to push out the waves, get everything off of their base, so then you can't look for any more. But here, BDS, they get the knock-up. Great ultimate from Parus that sets up the public execution. Ice doesn't get the reset crucially, though, as Razork is able to escape, which kind of slows down this onslaught for BDS. He does end up getting onto Mickey, but the fact that Ice wasn't enabled at the start of that is huge. Plus that trap slows the movement speed, so Ice can't chase down in the bottom half of that fight. So a small few things going in Fnatic's way prevented that from being BDS blowing open the game.
A Red Bull Baron power play, though, still gives them the chance, but Nuke is dead for another 10 seconds. That pick from Upset again not only holds, but as you said, sets up the waves better for Fnatic here. They're holding on in this game 3, this final game of the series. They're holding on, and Fnatic, again, might have to do their talking in front of the next dragon. 2 minutes 30 till it spawns, and that is Chemtech Soul for BDS. It is Soul Point for Fnatic. This is how they keep the game at a standpoint.
But that's the thing, BDS, they've had control. They are nearly 5,000 gold, but they just can't quite close this game out. They haven't been syncing up the waves. Fnatic have found their moments to start to look towards more of that gold income. Now you're looking at a Humanoid who's nearly at a Rabadon's death cap. Even a 1-4 Azir at this point, it does not matter. He is going to be a threat in fights. Third item, that rapid fire cannon for Upset. The moments for BDS to easily close this game out are starting to dwindle. They are still in the commanding spot, but BDS are not as clear-cut favorites as they once were.
No, they're not. I mean, there are underdogs coming into the series, of course, as Fnatic lose yet another turret. Rabadon's picked up for Humanoid here, so this is going to be big if he can do anything in the fight, but if is a big question mark here as Fnatic look to defend their inhibitor turret. 113 goes in under the turret, pops his ulti out as Pantheon jumps on in into the backline. They find Razork, kills Ice. A big mistake in the same spot for BDS. They're trying to kite back, but Fnatic are all inning. I'm watching Nuke trying to zone control as Ambessa comes in. Irrelevant, may have brought the fight back, takes down the Rabadon's Azir and tries to jump into the ground, but Upset is now doing the job for them. Razork survived for only a little bit longer, and Fnatic managed to defend. The Jhin has found footing, and Fnatic again punished BDS's comeuppance.
BDS were split. Fnatic found their moment. The items completed. The position position in the fights. Irrelevant had gone for that top lane inhibitor, so there was nobody there. He's late, can't go through the terrace. We have to back in towards this position. And look at Humanoid, basically untouched this entire time, sitting in that area. He's in a great spot. And yes, you get Irrelevant to come through, but the damage is done. Ice is gone. That consistent DPS was never present. And Fnatic find the chance to hold on.
Such a messy chunk in the end, but for 113, even though he survives for so long, as he gets taken down, that Baron push again stymied in the same spot, Dagda, just like game one. BDS was sitting down there, looked for the turret a little bit too early, a little bit too antsy, and once again, Fnatic capitalized big, gold lead minimized, Dragon up in 10 seconds. And Fnatic, again, they're just not out of this game. And in fact, they're more even standing than you'd expect.
They need to be careful. Parus engaged on Razork, stunned.
Yep. Razork is also stunned up, but he's taking no damage. Oscarinin sends away one, and Humanoid is free firing. The Azir gets to do what he wants. Fnatic have found two. Humanoid looking to go in, still holding that ulti as BDS are left with three. If any more die, the game is in jeopardy, as Soul Point is now given for free to Fnatic.
Humanoid, give it in the early game, but he is taking... Wait,
Rocket, Mikyx
dead. But it doesn't matter. It's still the Dragon going across the Fnatic. It is nice gold towards Ice. But Fnatic, they know they are strong. They can feel the comeback happening. And BDS, the question is, can they hold on? This game is starting to slip further and further from their grasp.
The comeback miracle was there. The power that has been shown from Humanoid and Upset. Upset almost 4 items strong as well, by the way. In that last fight we saw, I mean, that Jhin, that disadvantage of gold, he still pops carries. Late game Jhin, one-shots carries if he gets on him.
But this is still a bloodied Fnatic.
It is.
This is not a Fnatic that looked like the behemoth we expected coming into the split, the behemoth we expected to enter playoffs. They're crippled, they are weak, they do not look like they are ready to take on everyone that remains in playoffs. A hold on here will bring a weak smile to their face, but for BDS, they want to see if they can smack that off here. Baron in 35 seconds. This is the fight that can break open everything.
Watch Ice. If Ice dies, it's everything. Grand Starfall starts us off, but Razork's in a little bit deep. That Jinx still free firing. It's a good ulti from Oscarinin, but not far enough. A reset going to be given over, but it's only a resurrection, remember, because of the GA. So Ice can't do anything, but Upset does everything. He's been watching Wanted as he curves not one, but 2 bullets with the Soul Laners down again.
And that is the fight that they needed. BDS to try to step forward. Razork doesn't have flash, so can't quite get onto 113. Mikyx threatening with that Zenith Blade.
The Jinx killer is GA. If Razork died naturally, I think Ice carries the fight and BDS might be in a game-winning position, but no. It's Fnatic in front of the Baron this time, and with Humanoid's damage, it'll be quick to go. Ice will take Red out of the way, but Baron drops, Fnatic equalize, and this comeback is going to be written in the sagas. I can feel it.
What was once BDS fighting and knocking at the door of Fnatic is now a BDS hiding behind their own turrets. Nuke attempting to hide behind Parus, but Razork, as you said, he goes into GA, Irrelevant isolated with a great steadfast presence from Oscarinin to keep him locked down. Nuke sniped by Upset. The hands of Fnatic are around the throat of BDS, and they need to find that one moment to finish it off.
And that's stress. This series has been pulverizing. This series has also been long. People of Berlin, I mean, it's almost 9 o'clock. Almost a 3-hour series on the Rift, and although BDS, it's not finished yet, now with Baron, Fnatic have turned the tides from what was a 5, almost 6k gold lead, as you can see on the graph there, to now to be in their favor as they start sieging from bot.
And you talked about the 6 items of Fnatic. Upset half an item away from completing his build. You look towards Humanoid in a very similar position. This is where Fnatic are starting to come alive, and BDS, they still have threats, they still have moments where they can come alive, but they need to find those moments to get on towards the carries of Fnatic, and the synergy just hasn't quite been there in those last couple of fights.
We get to test that theory, we get to test that motto, or at least energy, as Scatter the Weak is good. against this next dragon. 113 thinks about going in and takes it onto Razork. Solar Flare dodged away from. They're looking for that reset. Public Execution stepped in front of by Mikyx. They just need Ice to get a kill, but not enabled yet. Jumping into the backline, Oscar is a nuisance. BDS with low health bars, but again, they've got the range. They've got the range.
The reset.
They've got the game. They've got the excitement. As up down again, running in. Humanoid sends them back, but Nuke has to flash away. A double over in the end as well. It's a bloodbath, but both teams are still swimming fine.
Mikyx saved Upset, and that was the reason that Fnatic held on there. The public execution dodged at the last second. Captain Jack Sparrow in his way out of that one.
Holy.
These fights are so close, Hysterics. I mean, watch. As this fight starts to kick off, Nuke gets the stun on towards Razork, but keep your eyes on Irrelevant. As he starts to go in towards the back line, it's Mikyx with the Zenith Blade, who barely gets in way of Irrelevant and stops Upset from being caught out. Upset wouldn't have been able to start out with his ultimate, because this is what really deals the damage alongside Humanoid in this fight. And it's this turnaround from this position that Fnatic feel comfortable with this re-engage and Upset there, where they can actually threaten people on the backside. Upset as well, losing vision for just a mere moment there. Couldn't finish off Ice.
Because Ice flashed away. I mean, Jhin, Upset is doing... Look at it. Again, you see a Jinx in the game and you think, yeah, that Jinx is going to hyper, but they just can't get the first kill soon enough. You talk about it 3 fights ago. I'm seeing it every fight now. Ice is not getting the kill at the start of the fight to run over everything else, so Upset gets to be free.
And it's a game of inches. Razork not going down at the Baron fight, not getting the public execution because Mikyx gets in the way, and now what?
113 walks up, his Deadly Flourish Curtain Call is going to open up. They've got the range advantage, but Parus has got the door up. Hold the door. Parus shouts out with Celestial Blessing now in the way, and Upset tries to get the last shot. It's decent damage, but not enough. BDS are moving through a choke. Oscarinin and hold. It does hit yet again. 2 members sent away. Solar Flare from BDS. It's a big old yay for Fnatic fans. Oscarinen's ult have been on point, and I haven't seen that Poppy miss one damn one.
That hammer just cracked BDS. It cracked Ice into a different position. It sent Nuke into the atmosphere. Fnatic.
Okay. Oh, dilly dolly.
They're TPing to mid. They want to end this right now. They do not want to let BDS come back alive. Ice has that GA available, but if he gets jumped on, there is nothing left to save him.
That's the jump. There's the scatter of the week. Razork slowed down the shield up, and as he's unbreakable, inhibitor goes down. BDS with 3, 5 of Fnatic trying to put this into the coffin because it sure as hell hasn't been nailed down yet. They open up mid, but they cannot end the game, and at 41 minutes, we shall go on.
How deep do they want to go, though? Irrelevant has that TP alongside Nuke. Fnatic, it's now about trying to escape. BDS don't look like they're going to try and overextend here to get too much.
I'm going to press some buttons, Dagda, and I'm going to show you that just to keep it in the back of your mind. Okay? Because back of mind, wards like that, deep wards like that you mentioned. TP for Nuke and Irrelevant, but it's going to be Irrelevant, we know. However, at this point, Baron's not up for another minute. That's what we look towards again. 3rd Baron, 4th Baron, I don't know, but it is definitely a late game Baron.
But look at where the waves are. So yes, you've got that push on the bottom side of the map for BDS that they can look to try and play around, but it's not really in a position that they can do too much. The wave in a position, great for Fnatic on that top half, and that's where now BDS have to try and push that one back in their favor, but they're looking for a pick, but Fnatic, it's their bloody brush. It's named after them. They're not going to face check that one.
They know. They're very much in the know as Parus pops his head out. Remember, double GA, I need to mention, for Upset and Razork. Ice now has a GA as well. So the fight doesn't end there, but it sure as hell makes Ice's job a little bit more difficult if he tries to find that game-ending blow. Seeker's arm guard for Humanoid as well for the invulnerabilities. We sit towards 5. Europe is looking to deliver. The Fiesta looking to continue. The Blood looking to impact. Oscarinin against the wall with the damage from Upset. Caught out, and Irrelevant has put his namesake on the line.
But now it's BDS. They need to scramble. They need to try and cover. Fnatic, Oscarinin stepping forward. Humanoid in the pit can always follow over. Same with Upset. So for Fnatic, they're happy to leave their carries in river. And it's BDS who have to find some way into the pit.
4 versus 5 with that range. I don't know. Oscarinin is always one threat away. His flash almost up and available. Rocket's a little bit late. And Baron is down to Fnatic. They've definitely seized this game and this series by the horns.
Fnatic try to go underneath the turn on towards Nuke. It has been a dodgy series for them. playing from a deficit consistently, but able to find picks, able to find moments to bring it back, and now they're on the brink of pushing themselves forward in towards that round 3. This is still a long road for them, but at least this is a step forward.
And a step forward from Razork to enable the flash from 113. Another inhibitor to drop down. But Irrelevant is back up and alive. 5 members of BDS have respawned and are now together. Fnatic have opened up the base, put it into shambles. They will back, they will not be able to end. And maybe, just maybe, it is an Elder game in 3 minutes' time.
That inhibitor turn on the bottom side is incredibly low. Fnatic going to move as a almost 5-man unit. A steady march towards that. BDS, one reset for Ice could potentially crack open this game, but it's a GA for Razork that's now open available, makes it very tough to try and play for that. Upset, I'm pretty sure, final item completed. The Zonya's early on the way for Humanoid, but the Seeker is going to be enough to keep him alive if needed. It's difficult for BDS to find the pick they need, but they need that miracle.
They have the tools to do so, but it is, again, just about finding the right carry. Deadly Flourish, good sidestep. Nuke looking to zone. Irrelevant jumps in. The final fight in front of the base could be it. BDS looking for that reset onto Mikyx. That's the target. Ice uses range. Mikyx flashes away. The curtain call enabled as public execution. Doesn't hit the right mark, but Irrelevant blocks for his team for now as Razork is being the carry, being annoying. But the GA, as we said, is more annoying than that. Fnatic have got their front line in the way. Scout of the week hits nothing. Fnatic with 5. BDS left to a miserable 3.
Ice just needs someone, but he doesn't have the time.
Set the 4th shot, Fnatic. They're being tested, but it looks like it finally ends here.
Wait a sec.
Ice at the very last point, gets the reset. Looks for the carry. The 80 carry of BDS just needs a little bit more. His tempo there, his damage shown. Humanoid at half HP, but the Baron minions are in the way. Upset just hitting the turret for free. There's enough distance as now the Nexus is bare. Upset will make sure that their journey doesn't end here. But BDS fought them to the brink and through the mud. Fnatic will crawl.
It's relief on the faces of Fnatic and despair for BDS. What an incredibly hard-fought series from BDS. They had it, and they just couldn't get it across the line.
You can vote for your key player of the series. I don't know how you do it, but top in Oscarinin and Razork or Upset. Oscarinen's Poppy did so much. Razork's dive in bot punished BDS, and that's heartbreak for a team that in game 1 and game 3 die, and it feels like lose their momentum in the exact same place at around the same time. Fnatic looks scrappy. They'll say a win's a win, but we know there's so many more trials and tribulations ahead in this lower bracket for a team that we expected to be one of the best.
I don't think Fnatic are going to be particularly happy with that one. It's thank God we made it, but I mean, fair play to BDS. This was not an easy series. Nobody really believed that they could push Fnatic in the way they did.
True.
And honestly, like 1 or 2 things go their way, it would have been BDS who were standing and moving forward to face off against MKOI or Giant X.
It would have been, and look, for BDS, well, that's the end of their story. At least we've got fond memories here as, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to a short break after that Goliath of a series. And what awaits you after is Ginny talking with Oscarinin after their 2-1 win.
Welcome back to LEC. Jhin here standing by with Oscarinin in the Marriott Bonvoy post-game check-in. Honestly, what was that game? Because I felt like every single person in the audience watching at home and you guys on stage has probably felt every single emotion known to humankind.
Yeah, I mean, it was for sure a roller coaster in game 2 for us. I think we were not in control in the last game for sure, but we really wanted to win. We believed, and we were looking for ways to come back. So yeah, we made it, but it was really stressful, honestly. Like, I don't know. I just don't know how to feel right now. I don't know how I feel.
It's okay, take a deep breath because you did win, so you're still in running for the competition. But I want to talk about what you just mentioned, where you're saying it's really stressful, you're not in control, you still want to win. How do you, as a 5-man team, come up with a plan under so much stress to actually be able to close out the game?
I mean, I think you always depend a lot on the enemies trolling for you to come back.
Are you saying they trolled?
I mean, in the last game, I think a bit on the bot T2. And they have to make mistakes. We were mega behind. Like, I could feel it in game. So yeah, I think obviously they have to make mistakes, but we were also looking for them. I think we were in positions to punish them. So yeah, I think also the most important thing is to believe, because at some point maybe you can lose hope because we were really doomed. But yeah, I think we just looked for our way to come back and we made it.
Don't let your dreams be memes. That's like the takeaway I get from that answer. But you still have another team to play, and it feels like every time Fnatic goes up against G2 and doesn't win, there's a little bit of a mental boom. You guys were able to bring it back. I don't think a lot of people expected this series to be as close as it was. So heading forward, heading into the next games that you have going on, what's going to be your approach?
I mean, I don't know. Like today, I felt like we played really bad, honestly. I don't know what's going on today, but for sure we didn't play well. I didn't expect it to be close either. But yeah, it was. So we have to fix whatever we are doing and come back stronger against whoever wins in this match. Because if we play like this, we are probably not winning against either of these two teams. So yeah, we have to fix our problems. Yeah.
Okay, going back to the drawing board, mental reset. I appreciate you for taking the time for the interview. That's enough from us over here. Let's head to a quick break, and then we're going to be back with the second series of today. MKOI going up against GX.
Wait, is he switching lanes?